My Lord Bishop, Reverend Fathers, Reverend Mothers, Your Excellencies, my Lord Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow peasants. Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentleman Irish mighty odd. Well, he had a brogue both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a heart. But Tim had a bit of a tibble on the way, for the love of the liquor he was born, and to send the monies away each day, the drop of the crater every morn. Back full of dough with your dance to your partners around the blow with your throat and shake. Pigeon hit and root, I tell you, lots of fun and Finnegan's awake. One morning Tim was rather full, his head felt heavy which made him shake. He fell off the ladder and he broke his skull, then they carried him home, his corpse to wake. Well, they wrapped him up in a nice clean sheet, and they laid him out upon the bed, with a bottle of whiskey at his feet and a bottle of porter on his head. Whack full of dough with hands to your partners around the floor with a totter shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's wake. Well, his friends assembled at the wake, and Mrs. Finnegan called for lunch. Well, first she brought them tea and cake, then pipes, tobacco and brandy punch. Then the widow alone began to cry, such a lovely corpse did you ever see. Must you Tim a morning, why did you die? Well, you hold your gobs as Molly Maggie. Whack full of dough with your dance to your partners around the floor with a thunder shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun and Finnegan's wake. Well, Mary Murphy took up the job. Pity she see you're wrong, I'm sure. Well, pity fetch her a belt in the gob, and left her sprawling on the floor. While Civil War did then engage, woman to woman and man to man. Shillelagh law was all the rage, and a row and eruption soon began. Whack full of dough with your dance to your partners around the floor with your thunder shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun and Finnegan's awake. Well, Tim Malone, he ducked his head when the bottle of whiskey flew at him. He ducked and landed on the bed, the whiskey scatters over Tim. I'll be daddy revives and see how he rises. Tim Finnegan rising in the bed, saying 20 your whiskey around like blazes. Beat it 100 and Jesus, do you think I'm dead? Whack full of dough, you dance to your partners around the floor with your thunder shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun and Finnegan's awake. We'd like to take you to a part of Dublin that is probably not in any guidebook. It is bounded on one side by Gardner Street, on another by Sheriff Street, and on another by the far-famed Gloucester Diamond. Now, in the middle of all this area, there was a street called Montgomery Street. The whole area has since been closed down by the Legion of Mary, I believe. Because, at one time, it was one of the most famous red light districts in Europe. And that's probably why it's not in your guidebook. Anyway, his name of the song is The Mento.
Well, if you've got a wing, oh, take her up to Ringo, where the waxy sing, oh, all the day. If you've had your fill of porter and you can't go any further, just give your man the order, back to the K, and take her up to Monto, 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 take her up to Monto, Langaroo, to you. You heard about your foster, the dirty old imposter. He took a mutton laster up the forey glen. He first put on his bowler, then he buttoned up his trousers, and he whistled for a growler, and he says, "My man, take me up to Monto, 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 take me up to Monto, Langaroo, to you." Harry told and skinned the goat, O'Donnell put him on the boat. He wished he'd never been afloat the dirty skies. It wasn't very sensible to tell on the invincibles. They stuck up for the principles day and night. Be going up to Monto, 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 be going up to Monto, Langaroo, to you. You've seen the Dublin Fusiliers, the dirty old Fusiliers. The wet you get the childer, 1, 2, 3. Marching from the linen hall, there's one for every cannonball, and Vicky's got the saggers all over the sea. But first go up to Monto, 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 first go up to Monto, Langaroo, to you. When the Sararusha and the King of Prussia landed in the Phoenix in the big balloon, they asked the guard of band to play the wedding at the green, but the buggers in the depot didn't know the tune, so they opened up to Monto, 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 opened up to Monto, Langaroo, to you. You may notice that we have left out a word. We were advised against singing it in case somebody would come along and be insulted. Now, somebody hasn't come yet, whoever he is. And there was a suggestion made last year that all the books written by Irish authors, which are banned in this country, should be printed in Irish. And this would be a great incentive for the Irish people to learn their own language. We'll make our contribution now with this verse. The Queen, she came to call on us, she wanted to see all of us. I'm glad she didn't fall on us, she's 18 stone. Mr. Me, Lord Mercy, she is the all you've got to show to me. Why no, man, there's some more to see. Ho, ma, ho, and he took her up to Monto, 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 took her up to Monto, Langaroo, leave to you, my whole
Well, you've heard about the Indians with their tomahawks and spears, and of the UN warriors, the heroes of recent years. Also I might mention the British Grenadiers. Well, none of them were in it with the Dublin Fusiliers. You've heard about the Light Brigade and of the deeds they've done, and of the other regiments that many victories won. The pride of all the armies, the Bruins and Carabineers, was that noble band of warriors, the Dublin Fusiliers. And we are left on the right about face. This is the way we go, charging with mixed flame. It's the terror of every foe. The glory to Ireland, as proud as buccaneers, and a terror to creation are the Dublin Fusiliers. Well, you've heard about the wars between the Russians and the Brits. The Tsar one day was reading an old copy of Tidbits, and when the general came to him and threw himself down in tears, we'd better run back like blazes, here's the Dublin Fusiliers. The Tsar commenced to tremble and eat the he's under lip. We got a bye, says he, I think we'd better take the tip. Them devils come from Dublin, and to judge from what I hears, they're demons of militiamen. The Dublin Fusiliers, we are left, turn the right about face, this is the way we go. Charging with fixed main, it's the terror of every foe. A glory to all Ireland, as proud as buccaneers, and a terror to creation are the Dublin Fusiliers. Well, the sergeant cried, get ready lads, lay down his sword and gun. Take off your shoes and stockings, boys, and when I tell yous run. They didn't stop but started, and amidst three ringing cheers came a shower of bricks and bullets from the Dublin Fusiliers. The time that Julius Caesar tried to land down at Ringsend, the Coast Guard couldn't stop us over the Dublins they did send. And just as they were landing, lads, we heard three ringing cheers, get back to Rome like blazes here's the Dublin Fusiliers. We are left, turn the right about face, this is the way we go. Charging with fixed blade, it's the terror of every foe. Glory to all Ireland, proud as buccaneers, and a terror to creation are the Dublin Fusiliers.
Song you should know very well, and don't forget you are being recorded. Join in, for God's sake. Oh, they say that the lakes of Killarney are fair. No stream like the Liffey could ever compare. If it's water you want, you'll get nothing more rare than the stuff they make down by the ocean. The sea, oh, the sea, oh, Royal Mabley. Long may it stay between England and me. It's a sure guarantee that somehow we'll be free. Thank God we're surrounded by water. Tom Moore made these waters meet fame and renown. A great lover of anything dressed in a crown. In brandy the bandy, old Saxon he drowned, and thrown everyone into the ocean. The sea, oh, Royal Mabley, about 10 pence a week, provided no hard word on England they speak. Oh Lord, what a price for devotion. The sea, oh Glendalough Saint, what may stay between England and me. It's a sure guarantee that somehow we'll be free. Thank God we're surrounded by water. The Danes came to Ireland with nothing to do but dream of the plundered our Irish they slew. Well, you wielded your Vikings and Brian Barrow, and he threw them back into the ocean. The sea, oh Glendalough Saint, what may stay between England and me. It's a sure guarantee that somehow we'll be free. Thank God we're surrounded by water. Two foreign owl monarchs in battle did join, each wanting his head on the back of a coin. If the Irish had sense, they'd drown both in the mine and partition throw into the ocean. The sea, oh Glendalough Saint, what may stay between England and me. It's a sure guarantee that somehow we'll be free. Thank God we're surrounded by water. And now when the Malone began to cry, such a lovely calf did you ever see? How much you Tim of horn and why did you tie? Well, you hold your cubs, says Molly Maggie. Whack full of down, dance to your partner around the floor with your trotters shake. Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun and Finnegan's away. Down the glen came McAlpine, with a shovel slung behind them. 'Cause in the pub they'd like to sob, and up in the spike you'll find them. They sweated blood and they washed down mud with pints and a course of beer. And now we're on the road again with McAlpine's Fusiliers. I stripped to the skin with Daggy Finn, way down upon the Isle of Grain. With horse-faced tool that I knew the rule, no money if you stop for rain. McAlpine God with a well-filled horn, your shoulders cut to bits and seams. And woe to hear what to look for tea with McAlpine's Fusiliers. I remember the day that the Bear O'Shea fell into Copperage stairs. What Horseface said when he saw him dead, well, it wasn't what the rich call prayers. My man Navy shirt with a watery tart that reached on to my ears. When the going is rough, well, you must be tough with McAlpine's Fusiliers. I've worked till the sweat has had me bet with a Russian, Czech and Bull. the Hyder o' Dams, or underneath the Thames in a hall. I grafted hard, and I've got to me cards, and many a ganger's missed across me ears. If you pride of your life, don't join by Christ with McAlpine Fusiliers.
Good evening, all me jolly lads, I'm glad to find you well. If you'll gather all around me now, the story I will tell. For I've got the situation, and me gar and me gob. I can whisper I've the weekly wage of 19 bob. 'Tis 12 months come October since I left me native home, after helping in Killarney boys to bring the harvest down. But now I wear the gansy and around me waist the belt. I am the gaffer in the squad that makes the hot asphalt. Well, we laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flat, and if it doesn't last forever, sure as fair I laid me hat. Well, I wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot asphalt. The other night a copper comes and he says to me, Maguire, would you kindly let me light me pipe down at your boil of fire? Well, he planks himself straight down and with hobnails up to late. Here says I, me decent man, you better go and mind your bait. He ups and yells, I'm doing on you, I'm up to all your pranks. Don't I know you for a traitor from the temporary ranks? Boys, I hit straight from the shoulder and I gave him such a belt that I knocked him into the boiler full of hot asphalt. Well, we laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flat, and if it doesn't last forever, sure as fair I laid me hat. Well, I wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot asphalt. We quickly dragged him out again and we threw him in the tub, and with soap and warm water we began to rub and scrub. But devil the thing it hardened and it turned him hard as stone, and with every other rupture you could hear the copper groan. I'm thinking, says O'Reilly, that he's looking like old Nick, and burn me if I'm not inclined to clave him with me pick. Now, says I, it would be easier to boil him till he melts, and to stir him nice and easy in the hot asphalt. Well, we laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flat, and if it doesn't last forever, sure as fair I laid me hat. Well, I wandered up and down the world, but sure I've never felt any surface that was equal to the hot asphalt. You may talk about your sailor lads, ballad singers and the rest, your shoemakers and your tailors, but we plays the ladies best. The only ones who know the way they're plenty hard to melt are the lads around the boiler making hot asphalt. With rubbing and with scrubbing, sure they cut me death of cold. For scientific purposes, me body it was sold in the Kelvin Globe Museum, me boys, I'm hanging in me belt as a monument to the Irish making hot asphalt. Well, we laid it in the hollows and we laid it in the flat, and if it doesn't last forever, sure as fair I laid me hat. Well, I wandered up and down the world, but sure I never felt any surface that was equal to the hot asphalt.
You know, your man Luke is a communist. He gives pennies to the poor and everything. So, for the ladies and gentlemen in the audience, not mentioning certain people, or not, we will sing have a little bit of religion. In Glendalough lived an old saint, renowned for his learning and piety. His manners was curious and quaint, and he looked upon girls with disparity. He was fond of reading a book when he could get one to his wishes. He was fond of casting his hook in among the young fishes. Well, one evening he trout. He'd landed a fine big trout, sir, when Kathleen from over the way came to see what the old monk was about, sir. Well, get out of me way, said the saint, for I am a man of great piety, and me good manners I wouldn't taint, not be mixing with female society. But Kitty, she wouldn't give in, and when he got home to his rockery, he found she was seated therein, a polishing up his old crockery. Well, he gave the poor crater a shake, and I wish that a garter had caught him, for he threw her right into the lake. I mean, he started to pull him.
During the period 1914 to 1918, there was a very large war going on. It was very large, in fact they call it the Great War. And at that time they fought from trenches. And the German trenches were over there, and in a trench over here there were a couple of Dublin Fusiliers. And when I say a couple, I mean literally two of them. And they were getting very fed up sitting in this trench. Oh, 25 hours a day or something they were in them. Anyway, there was absolutely no action whatever. How much do you charge? I'll make a show of you yet tonight. God, she has a friend. Anyway, to get on with the story for those who want to hear it, and don't mind if you remember, there were 2 Dublin Fusiliers left before our friend came in. And no action at all, so he says, hey, Jim, what's the most common name in the German ant? Oh, no, you're wrong. See what you started? Gunther! He tries out a little charm, he says, hey, Gunther! Yeah! That works like a charm, so he tries it again. Hey, Gunther! Yeah? Again. So after he'd done away with about 7 or 8 of them, everything was working a bit like a charm, you know. So Gunther was getting a bit browned off with the whole situation. So he turns to his mate and he says, hi, Fritz, he says, what is the most common name in the Dublin Fusiliers? He says, I think Paddy. The man says, hi, Paddy. That's you, Gunther.
Will you come to the bower or the free boundless ocean where stupendous waves roll in thunder and motion, where the mermaids are seen and the wild tempest gathers to love there in the green, the dear land of our fathers? Will you come? Will you come to the bower? Will you come to the land of O'Neill and O'Donnell, of Lord Lucan of old and the immortal O'Connell, where Brian chased the Dane and St. Patrick the Vermin, and whose valleys remain still most beautiful and charming? Will you come? Will you come to the bower? You can visit Benburb and the storied Blackwater, where O'Nroe met Monroe and his chieftains that slaughter, where the lambs sport and play on the mossy all over, from those bright golden views to enchanting Rostrevor. Will you come? Will you come to the bower? You can see Dublin city and the fine groves of Blarney, the Banboyne, the Pillar and the lakes of Killarney. You can ride on the tide or the broad majestic Shannon. You can sail round Loch Ness and see storied Dungannon. Will you come? Will you come to the bower? Visit New Ross, Gallant, Wexford and Gorey, where the green was last seen by proud Saxon and Tory, where the soil is sanctified by the blood of each true man, where they died satisfied their enemies they would not run from. Will you come? Will you come to the bower? Will you come and awake our dear land from its slumber, and her fetters we will break, links that long have encumbered, and the air will resound with hosannas to greet you on the shore will be found, gallant Irishmen to meet you. Will you come? Will you come to the bower?
We had to preface the little song that we sang about Nelson, and we were looking through some books of poetry, Irish poetry, and we came across a poem by Louis MacNeice, poet and, as it turns out, prophet. A poem called Dublin, just simply Dublin, and this is the first verse of the poem. Is that recorded, Nat? Grey brick upon brick, the clamatory bronze on sombre pedestals, O'Connell, Grattan, Moore. And brewery tugs and swans on the balustraded stream, and the bare bones of a fanlight over a hungry door. And a soft wind on the cheek, and porter from the taps with heads of yellow cream, and Nelson on his pillow, watching his world collapse.
£50 of jelly a night, let's spread him on his way. And the lad that laid the charge put in death to him today. In Trafalgar Square it might be fair to leave old Nelson standing there, but no one tells the Irish what they'll view. So the Dublin Corporation can't stop the liberations, with the boys of Ireland show them what to do. 157 years it stood up there in state. To mark old Nelson's victory o'er the French and Spanish fleet. But 1:30 in the morning, without a bit of warning, old Nelson took a powder and he blew. So at last the Irish nation had manned an entire station, left out old Admiral Nelson to live. For the Russians and the Yanks, with the lunar probes they play.